Hi guys, my name is Lisa Jang, also known as the Yin Yoga Muse, and welcome to your practice, your Yin Yoga practice. For today, we'll be working into the upper body, so you'll need a couple of yoga blocks for this practice. Be sure they're foam blocks. You can also use the more heavier blocks like the cork blocks, but have a blanket or a towel for that or on top of it, so the sensation is not so strong. You might also need a pillow for this practice or a bolster. And as well, you might want to use a blanket, especially if you're laying down on a hardwood floor. We're going to start off laying down onto our backs. Before you do so, grab your blocks. We're going to place them more towards the back end of our mat there. And the blocks are going to go into position so that we can come into our first yin pose and our opening meditation into our heart opener. So for me, I like my blocks into the medium level and the high level for the back of my head. The one on the medium level is going to go at the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Of course, you can lower the level if this is too much for you. You can take it a notch down, and that might be for you today. But again, this block here that is closer towards your tailbone is going to go right at the bottom edge of your shoulder blades, right over here. And the other one's just going to support your head. So let's go ahead and do that, coming to our opening meditation. So take your time. Again, you might want that blanket for underneath your tailbone or underneath your pelvis. Slowly start to scoot yourself forward. Get the block right at the bottom tips of your shoulder blade there. And then the other block is going to be behind your head. So how I like to come down is the block is going to be right behind my skull, and I let my head come all the way down, as opposed to already having it down and looking for it. This way, it's just a little bit less jarring for my nervous system, so that I know I have something to land there. And just make sure that you're comfortable and you're nice and steady. And your feet, depending on how you feel in this one, you can have your feet down towards the earth, let your knees knock in and rest into each other, arms laying by your side, or you can start off like I'm going to start off into our easy supine butterfly pose. Feet sole to sole as you're here, and allow your arms to drape out by your sides, palms facing up as you're here. Begin to close your eyes as your spine just drapes over the tools underneath you. And let's begin here as you close your eyes to settle in. Wiggle around if you need to, so notice if you're leaning more towards the right side or the left side. Allow yourself to find some equanimity. And let's begin to take a deep inhale through our nose and a deep exhale out through our mouth. Again, a deep inhale through our nose. A deep exhale out through our mouth. And one more time, deep inhale through our nose. And deep exhale out through our mouth. Begin to seal your lips, or just let your breath find its natural pathway as you're here. Letting go of the day, of any interactions prior to your yoga practice. Dropping in and just noticing how you're feeling today in your body. Notice if there's any energy that's stuck in the tissues. Maybe a sense of emotion that's attached to your breathing. Acknowledge that without any judgment. And breathe. Soften through your jaw. Today's practice is all about opening up through the upper body, releasing tension or stress that we may be holding through the shoulders, and overall resetting our nervous system to rejuvenate our tissues and our body. To set this intention, allow this intention to settle into every crevice, every corner of your body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, allow your intention just to dissipate and be offered into the universe. Again, one more slow, deep in breath. And slow, deep out breath. As you're ready, gently, if your legs are in butterfly or if your knees are knocked in, gently bring your knees facing up towards the sky, taking your time. Your upper body is still on the blocks. Into your heart opener. And gently extend your legs out towards the bottom edge, short edge of your mat. So you're here. Gently open your eyes, keeping your gaze soft, slowly letting the light in behind your eyes. And take your time to stretch your arms up overhead. Just notice that this will take your upper back into more of an arch there. Let's see if that works for the range of motion for you today. But just stretch there. Take a deep in breath. As you breathe out, slowly take your arms down by your side. Rebend your knees. And take your time to roll towards your right side. Lifting the left shoulder blade up off the block, pressing into the bottom elbow, and slowly pressing yourself all the way up. Take a moment there just to notice the residue of the block maybe still imprinted in the connective tissue of your upper back. And as we're ready, we're gonna do a little bit of myofascial release. I love this for the shoulders. We're gonna take the block again. If you have the harder block, I would recommend putting a blanket over it. But we're gonna use the block here just to do a myofascial release around the lats there, serratus. And this is really great for the lymphatic, for the lymph nodes. So the block on its medium level and then one block for your head. And your arm's gonna be right between the blocks as you're here. So scoot yourself towards the blocks. And I like to tack the tissue down and move my hip away. That creates a little bit more of that kind of that traction, that lengthening to the side of my waist. And your legs can be however you like, as long as you're comfortable here. The legs can be stacked. You can also have the left foot down with the left knee kind of pointing up. And then go ahead and take your head on the block as you're here. Now find your appropriate edge as you're here. Now, if you want to move or roll back, what you're going to need to do is push the block back so you have more real estate, so that you have that land or that block to roll back on. So I'm going to reset myself. I'm going to set the timer. Each pose will be done for about 3 minutes today. So just for a moment here, without moving, allow your side body to drape on the block. Feel the compression of the tissue, of the skin, the dermis, and the layers, the different layers of connective tissue as you're here, settle into the block. And then so you can soften to that right shoulder, let your right hand soften as well, let it curl, fingers curl naturally. And then take a moment there just to breathe. As you breathe, direct the breath in towards your rib cage, the one that is on the block. So as you breathe in, you feel the press of the tissues against the block. And as you breathe out, the block gently kind of just presses back and towards the tissue, and there's a sense of surrender, a sense of letting go. Again, deep in breath. And then deep out breath. And one more time, deep in breath. And then deep out breath. Now, as you're ready, you can stay here, especially if this is really feeling like it's opening up your body or releasing some fascial adhesions or tension. Otherwise, small movements, slow movements, gently rocking forward, moving more towards the anterior part of your body, and then slowly starting to rock back, moving more towards the back rim of your shoulders there, and really taking your time to feel that glide of the tissues. Notice how good it feels. But notice anything else. So any areas that may be kind of influenced by doing this rocking back and forth, on the side of your lat. So you might feel a release around the shoulder. I'm feeling a release around the shoulder as I kind of rock through the side body as I'm here. Your leg, again, doesn't need to be pinned to that shape. Again, you can use that leg as your kind of your driver of the movement. But invite yourself as you're here to be really intuitive, to notice which angle resonates with you. So for me, it's leaning back a little bit as I'm here. I'm gonna let my legs rest into any shape that's comfortable. So I'm gonna wiggle around a little bit. I'm finding this is a little bit more comfortable for me. I want you to find what's right for you. And I'm just gonna breathe over here, and I'm gonna ask you to do the same. Close your eyes. Allow your right arm to simply settle. And then feel that release of tension. Feel that ease of breathing. Let's take a couple more cycles of breath there. And as you're ready, we're going to slowly start to open our eyes. Our 3 minutes is already up. We're going to press in towards our left hand and gently come all the way up. So from here, I'm going to scooch the block back. We're heading into that heart opener, but with a twist, and feel free to remove the blocks if it's too much, okay? So the knees are going to stay towards the right side. Be sure to not anchor this knee down. It can come up towards the ceiling if you like. And I'm gonna slowly roll my bottom touch my shoulder blades back onto the block. This one's gonna go right at the back of my head again. Make sure it's steady and secure. And again, notice my left knee lifts up. When I'm here now, I'm in a supine twist. So supporting my head, I'm gonna turn on my timer. So set up as you need to as you're here. Just notice if it's too much for your body, take the blocks away. Right? So if not in your wheelhouse to have it in the block and have your body in the blocks today, then let it go and just allow your body just to melt into this pose. Now again, the left knee might lift up. Go ahead and let it do that. Or you may want to slide this left thigh back and create this stag-leg position. As you do that, what you're creating is a little bit of tractioning or a little bit of pull in towards that left hip there, the lateral portion of your thigh, which is closer towards your IT band. Making sure your left knee feels okay as you're here. So just notice the sensation while you're on the blocks. Take a moment here to breathe, breathing in. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to surrender just a smidge more. Really allowing the left thigh bone to get heavy without force. So letting go of any muscular efforting if you can, or being aware of that muscular efforting. Sometimes it's unconscious and it slips into our consciousness and we're aware of it. So now we can slowly let go of that muscular efforting or that muscular striving. Breathe here across the whole front of your body. Allow your fingers to simply soften. Notice if it's a little bit more difficult to breathe. See if you can ease into more of an easy, smooth breath without force. Another 45 seconds. Here we go. open your eyes, keep your gaze soft, and notifying your body that you will be coming out of this pose very slowly. Lifting your left shoulder if your knees are slid apart, and stag legs, slowly slide the left leg on top of the right leg. Take your time to roll back towards the fetal position, press into the right elbow, left hand, and then slowly start to come all the way up. Take your time here to remove the blocks for a moment. Take them off to the side. Lay onto your back for a rebound. So take a moment here as you lay onto your back, noticing right side, left side. This is where you'll notice a lot of discrepancies or differences on the right side and left side. Notice the openness that you're feeling in the right side of your body. Maybe there's a sense of ease breathing towards the right lung. Maybe you find just a smidge more capacity as you breathe in, or ease, and as you breathe out. We're gonna head to our second side, so bend your knees and take your time to come up without jarring the body, without jumping up. Take your time to lazily, without using too much energy, slowly start to come all the way up. You may want to just kind of scooch your blocks towards the other side. For the camera's sake, I'm just going to turn myself towards the other ends of my mat so you can see. Again, we're heading into the left side of the lat this time. Now each side is going to be different, so notice each side as you approach the left side. So you might find a different sensation on this side, so don't be alarmed at that sensation. And then have your blocks ready to go for support of your head. I'm going to scooch down so that I'm in the range and the angle of the camera. But I'm going to take that block right to the rib cage there, and I'm going to tack the tissue down and then move my left hip away, creating space for the left side of my waist. And then I'm going to slowly move my left arm forward and let the left side of my head rest down onto the block. Take a moment here. I'm going to start my timer. In the beginning, I just want you to linger there for a moment and just notice if there's something kind of jarring to the body that's painful, then you need to come out of the pose and just adjust the block either uptown or downtown a centimeter or so that you're not feeling any kind of nervy sensations through the body, through the arm. Hopefully you don't have any broken ribs or anything. This is contraindicated, of course, if you do have broken ribs or even like a new tattoo or cuts, bruises on the side of the ribs. You really want to avoid that, and you may want to just come into a side fetal position instead, and that will be nice for the nervous system. So there's so many benefits to just laying on the side and make it more restorative for you. Again, every body is different. Now once you settle in, right, so we're breathing there, we feel that internal tissue massage. So we breathe in, we feel the press of the block in towards the rib cage, or the rib cage into the block, and then vice versa as you breathe out. Now again, I invite you to gently and slowly roll forward. Oh, this feels amazing. And then slowly move back. Now for those of you that know me, I am left-handed southpaw. And so my left side has a lot more things going on with it. So I'm gonna move slowly and just notice some of the more gristly areas around the lats there. Whew. And for me, I'm feeling this release, not only towards the shoulder area, but even down around my waist, interestingly enough today, on the left side of my body. Again, make sure your legs are super comfortable. One thing I forgot to mention on side number one, sometimes I do move this bottom arm around so I can even kind of squeegee that arm forward and back. But once you've found something, I encourage you just to stay there. Again, maybe it's moving back. This side I'm gonna move forward and more towards the side because this one is where I'm holding tension. Now with any of these poses, feel free to hit the pause button on this video and stay a little bit longer, especially if it feels like it's healing for you today. Like it's hitting that $1 million spot. Again, we're looking for a nice healthy compression of the tissue, not too little, not too much, but just right. Always remember the Goldilocks principle. This I learned from my teacher, Bernie Clark and Diana Batts. Take a few more cycles of breath there and see if you can soften. Take one more slow, deep in breath. Again, feel free to linger and stay here. But again, we're heading to our supine twist with a heart opener. So once again, use your top hand to press yourself up. Scooch that block a little bit further back as you're here. Move your left hip towards the left side. And take your time to roll back onto the block as you're here. Again, the right knee will lift. This block is going to support the back of your head. And then you're opening up your arms towards the T. So I'm going to start the timer on this one, 3 minutes. Now again, you can have that right knee lift. This is actually really nice. I'm having a little bit more pressure. You'll notice the shape I'm in. There's more lean on towards that left side of the shoulder blade there. It feels super good. But again, I want to also make sure I'm symmetrical as well. So what I did on side number 1, I'm going to do on side number 2. So I'm going to do the stag leg variation. I'm going to slide my right leg back. Again, you don't need to do this, especially if there's any knee issues going on there, the right leg. But that right leg, that right femur bone is an internal rotation of the hip socket. And I'm allowing myself to lean towards the left side here, getting a subtle heart opener as well. So getting that lift in my chest, you can see the orientation of my body on the blocks, while getting in towards the right frontal hip point and the lateral portion of my right thigh. Lateral meaning closer towards that side tuxedo stripe of your pants. So as you're here, let your whole body drape over the blocks. And then take your time again, closing your eyes. Allow yourself to be introspective, heightening your interoception. And see if you notice as you're here, see if you notice the subtle energies moving through the whole body, especially through the front of your right hip. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. See if you can disengage any muscular efforting, especially around the legs, the glutes. Let them become heavy. You've got about 3 to 4 more cycles of breath. Follow the sound of my breath. My breathing. One more slow, deep in breath. Slow, deep out breath. Gently start to open your eyes. Take your time to navigate yourself off the blocks. Again, expending as little energy as you can. Slide the legs back into your fetal position, roll off the block or roll towards the left shoulder, press into the left hand. Maybe right away, scooching the blocks off to the side. I kind of like to have them off to the corner here, especially if you're kind of more a person that is a little bit more organized and just want it off to the side, or you can just push it off to the side there. Take a moment here just to linger in your Shavasana, your mini Shavasana. Notice this side now. Notice the left side and the right side. The left side is probably feeling a lot more fresh than the right side, but there's a lot more symmetry or balance between the two. Notice the ease in the nervous system. And then breathe in towards the lungs and notice the lung capacity there. Notice the shoulders. As you're ready, bend your knees. Roll towards your side and press yourself all the way up. Now I'm gonna grab my blocks here and move back towards the front end of my mat. So with the blocks now, have your bolster at the front of your mat too. Now the blocks now are gonna go right where the front of your shoulders, your chest transitions to the arm. I like to have them on this medium level, but you can also have them on the low level. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the blocks, a little bit of compression into the lung point there. In Chinese medicine, we have lung point number 1. And I'm gonna take my hands, either the palms of them face up, so the arms are in internal rotation. You can have it side by side. You can also do cactus arms with the palms down. Or what I like to do in this one, this is called reverse angel wing, is I'm gonna show you, we turn around so you can see, is you can loosely lace your fingers behind your back as you're here and just let your arms rest, okay? So those are your variations with your arms. Again, medium or low level with the blocks. So have your blocks ready to go, front on the top end of your mat, come to all fours. Now this one, I like to come to all fours and let my chest come down, squeezing the blocks. Again, your shoulders width is gonna be different from mine, so the width of your blocks are gonna be different from mine. I'm gonna squeegee myself into the blocks there and slowly slide the knees back so I can come into my belly as I'm here. Now, I'm right into those lung points there as I take my arms either into this cactus shape, letting my head hang, or you can have your arms beside you like so, or you can lace the fingers behind you. Now go ahead and do that while I start the clock. We will be holding this pose for 3 minutes. So settle in, wiggle around if you need to. And the timer has started. So this one is one of my favorites to release tension, especially through the front of the shoulders. So I'm gonna lace my fingers here. You'll notice if you tuck your toes and move your body forward, you're gonna create a little bit more shear, more load in towards that front, the anterior part of your shoulders. See if that feels good for you. If it doesn't, then scooch back. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward because it feels good for me. These blocks are a little bit softer than the ones that we have at the yoga studio in the other room, but these ones are just as good. So let your forehead rest down towards the ground. I'm gonna lift my head and talk to you guys because if my head is down, my voice is gonna be muffled. So take a moment here to breathe across the width of your collarbones, and then now breathe in towards the blocks that are pressing lightly or gently into the front of your shoulders. Now as you here, breathe also through the base of your skull. So there's a sense of release and letting go of tension at the back of your neck. We carry so much stress in the shoulders, so much emotions too in the shoulders. I know a lot of times people talk about hip storing emotions, which is true as well, but the shoulders as well, throughout the whole body. So just notice as you're here, the staccato of your breathing. Lately, I've been doing a lot of this one simply because I recently lost my father-in-law. So when I breathe now, I notice there's a difference in my breathing. There's a little staccato, almost like I'm crying, and I'm not. The breath wants to go there. So there's this kind of, as I breathe, and I've already cried all my tears out, but it's still sitting in my lungs, the grief, the new grief that has stricken into my life. So I'm still processing through that. In fact, this sequence is dedicated to him. Very sweet man. So take a moment here just to breathe, to see what's going on. Take one more slow, deep in breath. As you breathe out, gently start to lift your head. Hopefully you were able to hear me, my head was down. So take a deep in breath. Out breath, lift your head. Release your fingers or clasps behind you. Let your arms rest down by your side. Take another slow, deep in breath and a slow, deep out breath. Gently place your palms by the blocks there. Lift yourself into this quasi dog or quasi cobra pose, and then move your blocks off to the side. Wow, I am feeling that flood of energy moving through the front of my chest there and through the front of my shoulders. It feels wonderful. So let's head to Sphinx pose for a moment here. This will be our rebound. Elbows create, or forearms create almost like the number 11 as you're here. Let your pelvis rest down onto your blanket, which is nice to have underneath, especially if you feel like your pubic bone is pressing against the floor. That's really uncomfortable. Or even if you're practicing on tile, have that blanket or towel underneath you. And then breathe here. Palms can be up or down. You choose. Let your head dangle for here for a moment. You can even turn your head from side to side. And we're on to our next pose. So slowly come to all fours. Take your hands by your rib cage. Come to tabletop. Grab your bolster. I love this one with the bolster, but you can do this without the bolster. You can also roll up your blanket into a nice burrito roll. So have a look. So you can roll it this way and have that underneath your rib cage there. Otherwise, if you have a bolster, the luxury of having this long bolster, you can take that underneath horizontally. Lay onto that. Make sure you're comfortable as you're here. And then we're gonna slide, we're heading into crushed wings. Slide the right arm underneath as you're here, and then let your head rest down towards the earth. Now you can do one arm or you can do both. The difference is you're gonna feel it differently and towards the upper back and towards the kind of the traps, the rhomboids and the side deltoids, which is the side of the shoulder, the deltoid bead. So I'm just fixing my clock here. Okay, it's gonna be 3 minutes. So take a moment there, settle in. Let your forehead rest down towards the earth. So in this one, I like to let my chin rest onto the left arm. If you're doing one arm, that's fine. But breathe in towards that whole back of the arm, the hairy side of the arm, and the back of your right shoulder. Another option in this one, you can also use a block for your head in this one too. You can slide your left leg up into army crawl position. And you can lessen the intensity by leaning back a little bit. Or if you want more intensity, you can finger crawl your right hand toward the left side as you're here, and then let your arm rest there. And then you can turn your chest further, chest facing down towards the earth as you're here. You're gonna feel a little bit more pulling towards the tissues. Palm up or palm down. I usually like my palm up in this one. But take a moment here just to notice that nice tissue pull in towards the shoulder. Again, my head's lifted just for the camera's sake so that you can hear me talk. Allow your head to rest all the way down and just listen to my cues or listen to my voice as you settle in. So take your time here, breathing in towards the back of your right lung. Each time you breathe out, notice how the tissues, each fiber, unravels tension. As you breathe, notice that tissue glide. Notice the liquid, even that liquid fascia, which we call the extracellular matrix. And then soften through the side of your neck, through the right side of your neck, through your jaw, through your tongue. Let's take 3 more cycles of breath there. Notice how you're breathing. I'm noticing that staccato of my breath again. Acknowledging every emotion. We're all human, so it's okay. Allow yourself to feel what you need to process. And hold this compassionate space for yourself. As you're ready, slowly unravel the arm. Take your time to come back into Sphinx pose. Slide your left leg back behind you. This one is going to be a supported Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose, if you have that pillow underneath your ribcage. You can also, if you like, come to seal pose for a moment here. Breathe in towards that right shoulder. You can let your shoulders go up towards your ears and let your head simply ankle down. This is one of my favorites. It's not as glamorous as the other in poses, but it's so effective, especially for my back. As you're ready, we're gonna head to second side. So take your time to lay down, thread your left arm underneath as you're there. And again, you can scooch forward if you like. You can remove the bolster too. Again, that's optional. Removing the bolster will also give you a lot more compression in the arm. So I find the bolster a lot more comfortable there. But I also get this nice line to pull through the back of my left arm. Again, coming back to our principle, not too little, not too much, but just right. Maybe your head resting on the block. Maybe taking full crushed wings, crisscrossing at the arms, and letting your chin rest onto your right bicep or even a block. Now, once again, my head is lifted because I'm for camera's sake. But once you're settled in, allow yourself to really dial in. Rest your forehead, rest your head, your chin on your arm, wherever you need to let the back of your neck disengage any muscular efforting, and really breathe in towards the back of your left lung. Notice if there's tension there. Again, holding a kind, compassionate space for yourself as you do this pose. We've been in this pose for just over a minute, and I invite you, again, if you're doing the one arm crushed wing pose, is to slide your right knee up as you're here into this half army crawl. You can lean off to the side towards the left side. It'll create less sensation. It might be right for you. It might be just enough. So find your happy middle, right? Finding the not too little, not too much, just right. Or you may want to finger crawl your left hand towards the right side of the room and then gently settle in. Maybe your body is saying, okay, I'm ready for just a smidge more. Again, just a smidge. We're not looking to do any big structural change to our tissues. But again, we're looking just to rejuvenate and replenish ourselves. We've got another 55 seconds here to go. So see you can soften around your legs, your hips. Feel that continuity of tissue on the left side, shoulder, side of neck, jaw, temple, skull. Let's take 2 more cycles of breath there. Deep in breath. And deep out breath. And one more time, deep in breath. And deep out breath. As you're ready, gently start to open your eyes. And then slide your right leg back if you're in that half army crawl position. Take your right hand, press it, unravel it. Press it to the mat. Slowly unravel your left arm. Oh, wow. And then draw your elbows down towards the ground. Take a deep in breath and a deep out breath. As you're ready, slowly come to all fours. A moment in child's pose, just to notice the tissues and how you're feeling in your body. The knees don't need to be together. In fact, take the bolster into front of you, into a vertical position, and let your head rest there. But I encourage you just to notice how you feel. Taking a couple more cycles of breath just to linger into the practice. And as you're ready, taking your time to press yourself all the way up. And then moving the bolster off to the side. You can use a bolster or pillow underneath your legs. And we're heading into Shavasana, final rest and relaxation. I encourage about 5 minutes or a little bit longer for your Shavasana. But resting onto your back or onto your side into a fetal position. And take this time for yourself. Now for time's sake, I'm just going to end the video here. But again, take that time for yourself for Shavasana. Set yourself up, maybe blocks or bolster underneath your legs. Maybe the blanket kind of over your body, like a nice cocoon, a safe space for you to rest in. Anyways, thank you for joining in, tuning into this practice. My name is Lisa Jane. Thank you for joining in. Let's take a deep in breath, reach your arms all the way up towards the sky. As you exhale, drawing your hands towards your heart space. Honor yourself for being here today, for taking this time to show up for you. My thanks for you practicing with me today and for tuning in. Namaste.